Hi, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Addington News off the back of, well, it was a challenge for the punters last Friday night, Darrin. Indeed, it was a challenge Sunday as well, because whilst we try and help you out with the Quaddie on Addington News each and every week, last week, I think it would have mattered how much form I did. I might not have found a couple of those.
Yeah, look, I suppose they weren't complete blowouts. They were all, the last four races on Friday night, they were all double-figure dividends, 15s, and I think the last one paid about 20. So they weren't sort of $100 shots, but collectively together meant that I think the late Quaddie paid about 13K, Greg, but pick six was impossible for everyone, but it paid 11,000 for 85.
Right.
Which is pretty unusual here. Normally there's a few favourites rolling home, but it meant the GBR was good. So a couple of really good meetings, to be honest, and good fun on Sunday. Of course, the weather was inclement, but that didn't stop the team from Diamond Racing celebrating with all of their owners and staff. And again, we had a great day in Spectators on Sunday.
Yeah, and it'll be another very good one this week. Mark Jones's stable will have the race day, and I know he's got a number of his owners coming out, and he's just having such a good run at the moment, Darrin. Every time you see his colours in a race, you go, well, I've got to consider it, and think he's tied third on the premiership. He's certainly right up there. So yeah, he's having a great season.
Yeah, look, he produced a beauty on Friday night, Sweet Home Alabama, first up. A lot of word around for the horse, driven confidently by Blair Orange, and way too good for them. We'll see a lot more of that horse, we hope, in New Zealand here.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see amongst my selections, Darrin, that he's represented quite heavily, which is probably not surprising. It's turnover-wise, then it was strong, and because there were a few upsets, I'm picking the GBR was pretty good.
Yeah, look, it was good both days. 26%, I think, on 26, nearly 27% on Friday, and about 25 on Sunday. So yeah, couple of really good meetings. Some money in the bin for those two, which is good. And as I say, they were fairly well attended, both meetings, even with the weather being a little bit cold and a bit wet. Certainly a lot of rain around. Big shout out to the track crew who worked on the track after the races on Friday night, obviously with that rain coming. And whilst it was wet on Sunday, it meant that we were able to race safely with good times, even though the track was wet throughout the day with, at least a horse on a Sunday generally, but the times were still good. The track performed well, and everyone was nice and warm in the stables, which is good.
We get a chance to celebrate Alison Ward's first training success at the end of Addington News. Tornado banner was too good for Rosie Richter, who was absolutely outstanding for the Jones barn. You can follow that with a bit of confidence. We'll get into a full meeting preview, Darrin, if you don't want to stick around for that. The Coleman, Sunny Louis, they both look probably winners. Kauai Nugget looks a winner too. So, yeah, I think there'll be plenty of multis running through those three anyway.
All right, let's get into the full meeting preview. Race one for the harness meeting. We've got 10 races, get underway at 5:14. Greyhounds begin at 4 o'clock and run through till just before 9 o'clock. They've got a feature race, including a Group 1, a couple of Group 2s, the South Island Champs. So when we do have a dual code on a Thursday night, they're always well received. Both codes seem to be comfortable watching each other's races and filling in time between races, so they're not waiting a half an hour for a bit of action. So they do work good on a Thursday night, and a couple of really good meetings. So our race 1, 5:14, IRT Your Horse Our Passion. So Mobile Trot Greg gets underway at 5:14.
Yeah, and I thought the River Boy was excellent first up. I know expectations were in his last campaign that there'd be a win, and just didn't quite pan out that way. But the first up run was excellent, so I give him a very big winning chance. You also have to give Crown the Moment a big winning chance. I think the winner definitely comes out of those two, and which one probably does things right. And we know Crown the Moment will, because he's been second in his last three. I think it's the logical Quinella. Pennylow Pool continues to race well and has a part to play in the trifecta, and probably even the Quinella for that matter. And Lavra Solitaire is on debut for the Regan Todd barn. Watched a couple of its trials. She's shown enough to think that she'd be competitive first up too. But I'll plumb for the River Boy, just because I think he has more upside than most in this race.
Race number 2 is the first leg of the early quaddie, the Philinglennis Kennard Bloodstock Mobile Pace 1980 at 5:44.
Yeah, Mossdale Terry, he seems to be a bit stronger in his races, and he's showing that with his win a couple of starts ago, and then a very strong second last time. Cougar Express coming out of this race, Aiming for Glory coming out of this race, I think that gives him an even better winning chance now. I think he'll go forward and find the spot that he wants to be in, and therefore he'll be the one to beat. So I'll plump for him on top. The hardest for him to beat will be a Hoka LeBron, who's racing great, and also Live On Legend, who's now third up, and I think will be ready to run a big race. But both of those have to come off the second row, and over the short course, I think that gives Mossdale Terry a significant advantage. The other one that has a decent chance is Haley's Medal, for the Robert and John Dunn team. Spoke to John yesterday. He said the barrier draw will certainly aid her chances. Yeah, it won't be an easy race for her, but he thought she was a first 4 chance. So I'll have them 7, 10, 11, and the 6.
The interesting runner there, Greg, of course, the 2-year-old Harry's Deal from Brett Gray's stable was aiming at a 2-year-old race that we did originally have programmed on this program, but of course, just not enough 2-year-olds around to even run that. So he still made his way to Canterbury, obviously 1 start, 1 win at Wyndham in June. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes, but he's got the visitors draw the outside of the second row, not ideal.
No, it won't be easy for him. The other one I suppose you have to always consider is Lizzie Richter. She's drawn good again, and her manners seem to be better. But, yeah, I'm really interested to see how Harry's Deal goes. But you're right, the draw makes it difficult.
She's good fun, Lizzie Richter, isn't she? The day that you leave her out, the day she produces what
probably
we know
the
she
day,
can.
Darrin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Race 3 is the Fat Eddie's Mobile Trot 1980, and this one's 6:14.
Yeah, well, we've got a few horses that are doubled up in terms of Thursday, Sunday this week, and Truth Confessions is one of those. So if she comes out and wins this, probably makes her ineligible for Sunday. But if she doesn't, you have to consider that form for Sunday. She's done nothing wrong in her 2 runs this time in for Tom Baggery. John Dunn takes the drive again, and I think she'll be very competitive. Top Pocket Chance had a lot of money on D first up for the Brad Williamson barn and raced pretty well, I thought. Had to do a bit of work and battled on solidly for 4th. So you'd imagine there'd be some improvement there. Galleon's Ambassador upset them fresh up. Inside second row for John Morris and Ricky May driving is definitely a chance. And Sebastian Coe will be the big winner out of the mobile. First up win was really good, beat Crown the Moment, and then last time just got it wrong at the start. So, yeah, I'd watch the market with Sebastian Coe too, because Ken Barron has 2 in it. Blair opting for Izia, who, of course, is raced by the Calverts, his sponsors. So, I'd imagine that Sebastian Coe, if it can get on the markers and be up on the speed, will have a part to play too. So I think it's a top 4 hope, but yeah, I had them 8, 4, 10 with some luck and 5.
Race number 4 is the Perfect Sting at Macca Lodge Handicap Pace 2600, 6:44.
Yeah, the Macca Lodge team, of course, the South of the Waitaki race at Cup meeting every year on show day, and this is their new stallion. So check him out online. I thought the Coleman's run last time was good. He just got held up round the bend. He actually darted through the inside and looked like he was going to threaten for the win, and then Creed got all over the top of them and just powered home. So I think from a stand he's very good. There's only a few off the front, including the Real McCoy, which is unruly. So there's a bit of room there. It wouldn't shock me at all, Darrin, if he dashed through and was sort of very handy early on. So I think he's the standout in this race, the Coleman. I think he's one of the better bets of the night. So him on top of Absolute Dynamite, who just goes around every week, great supporter of Addington Raceway, this horse and the connections, and he'll go a good race again. Cougar Express is another of the Mark Jones barn that the first up run was really strong. It was in the first race last Friday night and wouldn't need to improve much off that. And Just Ace has been slightly disappointing, but is generally very good from a stand, so will put himself in the race. The Coleman, one of the best bets of the night, though, 6, 5, 9, and the 3.
Last leg of that early quaddies, race 5, the Airpark Canterbury Mobile Trot 1980, 7:14.
Yeah, he's a smarty, Sonny Louis, and The flashing light was on James Stormont's helmet last week. Just got held up at the wrong time. Not totally convinced it would have caught masterclass anyway, but it was a really strong run to the line. Mobiles of assist has already won in these conditions on show day. I think he's a winner on the night. TK Megastar. I just disregard her last start. Prior form really strong. Katie Hawk is a horse that you have to have in. Bob Butt, of course, letting us know yesterday he's coming over to drive his fine mare Manhattan and the Golden Girl at Group 1 level. She came up with barrier 1, so could be a good week for Bobby B. And Spider Moment's always to be respected. Darrin would consider it, but yeah, I reckon Sonny Louis, you can just about anchor him in your quaddie.
Couple of Southlanders making their way up for this race as well. So just watch that over the next few weeks. There'll be some horses scattered through these fields that have made their way up from down south with racing finishing down there for the season. So Switch On and Gift Card, the two in that race. Race number 6 is Down by the Seaside, making a splash. Fillies and Mares Mobile Pace. 2600, 744, part of the Woodlands Stud Stallion list, Greg, and they support our Fillies and Mares racing here at Addington Raceway.
Yeah, they certainly do, Darrin. Gee, Sweet Coco's going well, isn't she? I know she's still got a bit to learn, but gee, she's racing well. You have to think that, when we get to the back end of the season, she's going to be competitive in those good ones. Hope she sticks around. Yeah, I think she can win this as well. Won't be easy for her, though. She's taking on the, seasoned and hardened campaigners like Champagne and Wine. Maria Alagonda's racing well, and Giselle is always a big chance in these types of races and gets into it beautifully under the ratings band. I think Sweet Coco is a horse that's going to progress a heck of a lot further. And I mean, hey, Champagne and Wine doesn't have to progress any further. She's done a magnificent job, but there's so much upside to Sweet Coco. She'll go forward and she'll go very close to winning this. So I'll go for her ahead of Champagne and Wine, Maria Alagonda and Giselle.
Just the 6 horses for a Fillies and Mares race there, Greg, and Champagne on Wine, win, lose or draw will tick over that $100,000 stake. Winnings for Jan Calvert, Lisa Daly, Malcolm Shin doing a great job with her over her career. Race number 7 is the first leg of the late quaddie, the XM Sport Mobile Pace 1980 at 8:14.
Yeah, well, you just know Willison's going to improve off that first up run. They went 3:16. Tom Martin just had a fitness edge and a race position that allowed him to come from the 1-1 and run Willison down. Willison's a good horse. And I spoke to Mark Jones and he said he's come through the race really well. He comes up with a good barrier draw. Yeah, I think he can absolutely get back into the winner's circle and provided he stays sound, he's going to be a horse to follow. So Willison, the 5 on top. His stablemate Deny Everything, since winning down south, probably hasn't had all favours. And this is a good race for a horse of his class. Jack Tarr racing really well, and Lysa Beach, she's a bit hard to catch at the moment, but I understand there was a bit of an issue at the stables, which she avoided by going home with John Morrison. I caught up with Ray Jenkins, and he said Amber and the team had a fire at the stable, and that horse had gone home with John Morrison rather than normally go back to where it would be positioned, where Tony Barron has his horses. So yeah, I'm pleased that it wasn't too a tragedy that could have been a heck of a lot worse, Darrin. But yeah, Lysa Beach had a bit of luck this week, so maybe it'll get luck in this race, give it a decent chance to do. But yeah, it's Willison's race to lose for mine.
Race number 8 is the Livermore Mobile Trot. This one a mobile mile, Greg, at 8:44.
Yeah, good race, boys. This will be a good challenge for the punters. I've actually gone for one that I didn't ever think I'd be tipping on top again, the Dominator. Hasn't won in just over a year, but we know he loves to roll forward off the mobile, and I just think he might have such a big advantage over the horses that he is likely to find hardest to beat. I can't see Jim Curtin going back. So if he goes forward, finds the front, he's hard to get past. So I'll go for him. Not with any huge confidence, but if that sort of pans out, when you look to the inside, Galway Girl, I'm not convinced that, I know was a huge advantage, but the gate's still not absolutely perfect, is it? Zoe probably a go forward. Harold Smith might have a crack too, but I reckon the Dominator might just press forward and get the lead. Great to see Masterly back at the track, Darrin. Beautiful looking trotter, really talented. Second row won't make it easy first up, but it is P9. Jimmy Carter just has found this terrific vein of form and keeps on racing great, so you have to consider him. And I do like Harold Smith as a horse, so I wouldn't count it out. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the bookies put up for the Dominator, but I'd be happy to have something each way on it.
Interesting race, which is why we add those miles in every now and then just to mix it up, Greg. Race number 9 is the Avon City Ford Mobile Pace 1980 at 9:16.
Yeah, Kauai Nugget was just a moral beaten last time, 3 back on the fence, nothing that I think Gemma was on that occasion she could do, but would only need to have some racetrack luck to be winning this. So I clearly have it on top, and if it leads, Victor Lustig will be in a good spot, racing really well for Dean Taylor. Ricky May takes the drive this week, the only one on the second row. Judine was good first up. In fact, the last 100 really charged to the line. Looked like she was only battling and then, got her second win. So she'll improve off that. And Vatican Green, the other thing about Judine is potentially she could slot to 3 the fence or she could have a crack early. So she's got options there. And Vatican Green's racing in very good form for the Tolliman Lodge team. But I think Kauai Nugget will be winning, and I think it'll be pretty short as well, Darrin.
Race number 10, the first Direct Taxis Mobile Pace 1980. The last gets underway 9:41.
Yeah, Helium's racing well, and his race track pattern suggests that he'll be going forward again. If he gets the lead, then, he's the horse to beat. So I'll have him on top of Ventura, who's a horse that I've got a bit of time for. It'll put itself into a decent sort of a spot too. Major Memphis. Best Major Memphis form is when he goes forward. Now, I just don't think he can go forward and get the lead off Helium here, but he's certainly in this race for a long way, I think. Again, gets into it, nicely from that barrier. Sam Otley on again. Yep, I'll give it a chance. And It's a Moneymaker should get a tremendous run from that draw. Off the second row, you got 8 No Angel and Adesanya. 8 No Angel, excellent winner last time. Adesanya possibly needs a bit of luck from there. But, yeah, Helium will be in front. I know that pretty much for sure, Darrin, and therefore it'll be the one to run down.
Well, Major's doing a great job as a stallion, Greg. They're really starting to win all over the place.
Yeah, not wrong. He was a great racehorse, Darrin.
Yes.
The first horse to win 3 jewels, and he'll keep leading them, I reckon.
Let's have a look at the Sunday meeting. Mark Jones Racing Stables sponsoring the entire day as part of our Trainers Sundays, so it's going to be a good day. Race 1's 12:57. We've got a 9-race card with the last getting underway at 4:35. The first leg of the late Quaddie, Greg, aptly named the Art Attack and Sue Princess Iron Horses for the stable. 34 wins between the two of them for Mark Jones. Great effort. And race 6 gets underway at 7 minutes past 3.
Yeah, look, both horses, every time they went round, you had to respect them. Art Attack was such a brave horse, and when he found the front, he won a Cheviot Cup at Addington when he just ran them off their feet. He was a horse to follow, and Sue Princess's longevity and her durability, I suppose. She lined up twice a week just about every time, she was in work. And, yeah, I know why Mark's put their names on a race. They deserve it, and we were lucky to be the recipient at Addington of many of their wins and getting them to the races every week. Thanks for the opportunity to have a look at another Quaddie that's going to be extremely hard to get. Straight Flush has got a good barrier draw. I think she'll go forward for the court team. Blair Orange doing the driving. Bobby Waterhouse has a nice barrier. I think you have to have it in, Darrin. Press Play. Joseph Gray and Olivia Thornley combine here, big chance. And Ebury Street's probably one that you've got to have it in, because I think it'll be in the right spot, either trailing or 3 back on the fence. So I reckon you need 2, 3, 5 and 1, possibly in that order. To the second leg, I think Blair can win this with Jacka Oprah, actually. Second 2 starts back was strong. This is a race field that he should be able to handle, and again, I think he'll go forward. Hilda Maud's performance 2 starts back was really good. Johnny Cox drives on this occasion with Blair committed to Jacka Opa, and Fast Ace is going to be in the right spot. So 4, 2 and 1 in that leg. The next leg is the Hadfield Feeds and Feed Barn Handicap Trot, and you've got True Confessions and Top Pocket Chance who are potentially backing up, so you've got to have those 2 in. And I reckon you've got to have Ideal Stewartia as well. This is a bit of a step back for her, and Yeah, on the ratings, Darrin, she gets into this tremendously well just off the 10 metres. So I reckon you've got to have the 12 in, and depending on what happens on Thursday night, 1 and 4. And to that last leg, I think we can go a little bit narrow in that. Just have Zia Bromack, who dead heated with Lizzie Richter, and I think that form is clearly the best in this race. And Rockin' Diamonds third behind 8 No Angel last time, had a lot of merit, nice barrier draw. I think we just take the 2 and try and shorten things up. That's about a $72 spend. But again, we're trying to help you out with the quaddie, not tell you how to take your quaddie. And if you just want to take a percentage one, then do so and bet responsibly and sit back and enjoy your Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, look, I don't think there's anything better, Greg, on a Sunday if you're not on course and the weather is a bit inclement, sitting back and enjoying the trots from Addington. The form, as we say, because we're racing so regularly at the moment, is pretty reliable. Hildemore was one you touched on there, popped up on the Ultimate Racebook. There's a couple of others that are scattered through the programs. I think Spirit in the Sky, the maiden trotter of Kevin Townley, gets a mobile this time, draws the front line. So things like that you can pick up on where there's some improvement that horses will show. And as they continue to race and continue to find their feet and find their form, the form's pretty consistent. So it's worth having a dollar. We're going to leave you with a very excited Alison Ward after she won her first race as a trainer with Tornado Banner. He's been a bit of a challenge, obviously, with spells between racing, but there's no denying his ability, and there's nothing better than celebrating a trainer with their first win, particularly getting it at Addington. Greg, she really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and she deserves to. She's been around some pretty nice horses around the All-Stars barn. Of course, her partner, Michael Purden, a big part of that operation. And really pleased for her to grab the win, and I don't think it'll be this horse's last.
Kalatra now gets the lane, then Spiritual Bliss. Judine peels from Sweet Spirit and Rosie Richter to the outside. Leader Tornado Banner from Judine, Alex Christina. Rosie Richter coming quickly. The leader is still Tornado Banner. Rosie Richter's come from last, but it'll be second for her because Tornado Banner has held on. Big run, Rosie Richter. Third in either Sweet Spirit or Judine, who fought on strongly, then Spiritual Bliss from Alex Christina, Kalatra, and Touch and Go.